restoring Illinois to greatness. This is Illinois Rising, presented by the Illinois Policy Institute and hosted by AM 560's Dan Proft.
Dan Proft back with John Tillman, President and CEO of the Illinois Policy Institute. John, at the start of the show, we talked to Chris Roebling about the presidential campaign as it winds its way to Illinois on March 15th. And I got a question for you. As Trump is starting to pile up victories, as he is starting to appear to be the inevitable Republican nominee, you have conservative intellectuals, Eric Erickson, some of the writers over at The Federalist saying, better Hillary than Donald Trump.
Those people,
I will not vote for Donald Trump. And some, so there's some in that I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. There's some I rather have Hillary. The argument is that we don't want we don't want to be responsible for an enemy inside our perimeter. Better to have an enemy where the lines are drawn and we fight that enemy than allow someone like Donald Trump, who could be a facsimile of Obama or Hillary, in our camp to define the Republican Party, to define the conservative movement, and destroy it from within. You're a conservative intellectual. Do you ascribe to that theory?
That is one of the most insane positions I have ever heard. Hillary would
describing you as a conservative intellectual?
Exactly.
Or the other?
Both are true.
Yes.
Both are true. This is an insanity, and it's actually an indulgence. What this reflects is people now on the right who are mirroring what people on the left do, the people in the North Shore, who go ostentatiously to the black tie events to support some ostentatious charity that helps the poor and disadvantaged, rather than going to the soup kitchen on a Sunday and volunteering. And then they can't help but always talk about that, and they're holier than thou. I am such a worthy human being trying to take care of everyone at their cocktail party or on the dinner circuit. This is the same thing. I am so pure, I am so wonderful, I am so enlightened that I will not deign to vote for Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. Have they been paying attention to who Hillary Clinton is? She is an amoral, dishonest, power-hungry politician who gives not one whit about the poor, the disadvantaged, or the average American people, and will use the executive branch and abuse it even more than this president, Obama, has currently done. It is dangerous. The debate I have is, who would you rather have in office for the Republican Congress, though they are weak and there are problems there, to hold check on? Would you rather have the progressives have control of the judiciary and the executive branch for another 4 years with an impotent Congress, or would you rather have Trump and all the risks that are there that I acknowledge be tried to held in check by a more robust Congress who's worried about his excesses? I will take that every day.
Well, right, and I mean, I think you're right to describe this as a bit of an indulgence. You know, it's easy to be a theoretician or an op-ed writer at one of these opinion journals and take this position kind of in the long game where people are really suffering in the short run. And, 8 years, the prospect of 8 years of Hillary Clinton, for example, the kind of damage that would do. Think about the 8 years of President Obama. Could we survive it? Of course we could survive it. We can survive anything. But it doesn't mean we should make the incline that much steeper coming out of potentially 16 years of Obama and Hillary Clinton progressive policies. But they would say, in response, just to play this out a little bit more, they would say, look, you have to look long term. If Trump is an authoritarian in the way that President Obama has been, and essentially concedes all these foundational principles and then the policies that stem from those principles, then he destroys the party, he destroys the movement, and you won't be able to put Humpty Dumpty back together again after 4 years of Trump.
I think that's just preposterous on its face. One of the things you and I both know, because we're both deeply involved in this in our citizen lives, is you build a movement from the extremes back to the middle. So you build a movement for the pro-liberty, pro-freedom point of view from the right back to the center. And if Trump goes south on the right, then it is incumbent upon all of us who care about the freedoms that we fight for every day to hold him accountable. And the work that we've all done here in Illinois it started out by holding Republicans accountable. They were a little uncomfortable with that. But now we have the situation we are in now where we have less of that, and we can actually start working across the aisle in terms of the work we do in politics or legislative advocacy. It's the same idea here. If Trump goes rogue, it's up to us to solve the problem. That is a much better problem for us to have than the other one.